right, what are you doing, Mark? Tell me why we have Katy Perry coming back.
Well, that was for Rory, too.
Oh, yeah.
Both.
Yeah, well, that's very nice of you. What are we doing here?
But they just landed.
Oh.
The Blue Link or Starlink or whatever it is.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've been so uninterested in that, but I'm glad they're back safe. Katy Perry, I see it here. Katy Perry lands safely and kisses the ground after a Blue Origin space trip. Oh, my gosh. Acted like freaking Neil Armstrong here. Holy cow.
Yeah, I think it was Teresa Thompson was doing the interviews on the official Blue Link website, and she was calling them all astronauts now, which I don't know about that.
Oh, is that what they're doing? Who was it? Gayle King, Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez, who's Jeff Bezos' fiance.
Yeah.
One small step for a woman and one giant leap for person kind. They can't say man, woman anyway, right?
I think they were all actual women, too.
Okay, well, good for them, at least as of today's definition. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Thanks for ruining the morning there, Mark. I appreciate you. Well done, as always. Very nice.
Such a nice man.
How do you explain to your child? I was trying to explain this to Claire yesterday, why Dad was going to be watching the Masters yesterday afternoon, and she was not going to be able to watch a TV show on our main television on the first floor. And she's like, what do you mean? You watch golf. Why? And I'm explaining to her that this is a big tournament. It's the biggest tournament of the year. So here's the analogy I use, Mark, and you tell me if you think, as someone who I'm sure hogs the television for sports in your house more times than you care to admit, you tell me if this is a fair analogy. Because I'm trying to think on the fly here as I'm having this conversation with a 6-year-old. I said, listen, what's your favorite movie right now? She's like hemming, hawing. I'm like, doesn't matter. Just pick a movie you like. Cinderella. I said, okay. Imagine if there was only one time a year you could watch Cinderella. You can't just pull it up on Disney Plus whenever you want. There's one time a year, one day a year that you can sit down and watch Cinderella. Would you want to watch Cinderella? Of course. Whoa, her mind was just blown. Especially now, it's not like when I was a kid, you had to put the VHS in, or if you saw it on TV, you had to sit through commercials. Now it's just so easy. So suddenly this is connecting for her, I can tell.
Yeah, that makes sense. I try to tell my girls this is one of the only live things now that I get to enjoy, that many people get to enjoy. It's sports.
And then you say, don't you want to go to college? Daddy's got to pay for college with a couple of parlays here. Come on, girls.
I was trying to explain. We were driving home actually during almost the end of the match last night, and I was explaining to my middle daughter, Riley, hey, you're going to listen to something that's very historical.
Yes.
And you're going to be able to tell your friends. And she started laughing at me.
Well, it goes to show you what she thinks, obviously, at golf, John.
Boomers relate to your struggle in your analogy because it was that way with The Wizard of Oz and the 10 Commandments and maybe The Sound of Music. Once a year, it would be on.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good analogy as well. I do remember that as a kid with the 10 Commandments and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But she did get the connection. I said, listen, I don't take this TV from you often, and trust me, they're not like TV kids, but Sunday afternoon, been a busy day, had a, church, another soccer game, second soccer game of the weekend, 3-0. But, there's a lot going on. I said, if you want to relax, take a little breather, you can watch something, but Dad's got this TV. And they were cool about it. It was great. But, of course, as we're going down the home stretch, back 9 for Rory, everything's blowing up. He's missing putts, dunking it on 13, going to a playoff. Dinner's getting lined up for the kids, and it's chaotic, it's noisy. And there was a small part of me that was like, man, can I just get 10 minutes of peace and quiet and watch the rest of this damn golf tournament? And that was like, on one side of my shoulder. And then on the other side, there was this other voice. And thankfully, this other voice won out. Took a little time, but the other voice won out. And the other voice was like, you know what? You're probably 10, maybe 15 Masters away from having all the peace and quiet you want watching this tournament, where no one will care in your house about this tournament. Embrace the chaos in the back 9, because that's what you'll remember. And there will be a time in your life when you say, you know what? Kids screaming asking a million questions about what's going on TV, actually is something I believe, one day miss and look fondly back on. So then it changes your whole perspective. And you're like, you know what? I'm jumping up and down from the table. I'm trying to look at the TV. They're asking what the heck's going on. They don't understand what's going on, but they're asking a lot of questions to their credit. That's the kind of stuff that I do think I will look back fondly on and remember. Even though in the moment you're kind of like, I'm trying to hear Jim Nantz here. Let me hear Jim. And then Rory wins on that first playoff hole. He collapses in a much more emotional way than I thought he would after winning his first Masters and completing the career Grand Slam, which is winning every major golf tournament at one point in your career. And then he gives his 5-year-old daughter a hug after his wife, and you're like, you know what? That's what it's all about right there. That's why you watch this stuff. And I was pointing to the girls. I said, that's the girl that hit the putt I showed you on TV last week. That's her. And suddenly that engaged them. They were into that because I showed them the video of Poppy McIlroy the other day on the TV. And they were like, oh, yeah, we remember her. So suddenly there was some kind of connection for them, and they were digging it. And I was like, you know what? This is what I'm talking about here. This is living. These are the memories I'll have when I'm sitting there in my peace and quiet on the couch and I'm 60 years old and no one's bothering me. I'll look back on yesterday and say that was pretty cool.
Touche.